We're here to talk about the positive things that are happening in our classroom. So I'd like to tell you a story. The story begins with a young girl who walked into her sophomore year of high school as a force to be reckoned with. A confident, high-achieving perfectionist, this student would go on to win school awards, become the soccer captain, the president of school clubs, the valedictorian. But what most people didn't know was that underneath all of that achievement was a deep-rooted fear of being inadequate. She was terrified that no matter what she did, she still wouldn't be quite good enough. One of the major forces to alleviate this fear in her life was her teachers. Teachers who loved her, supported her, and believed in her even when she didn't believe in herself. This student went on to graduate from college, and so deeply impacted by her own teachers, she became one herself. She now teaches high school English in Stillwater, and she recently submitted a video to come here today and talk to you about the positive impact of education. This story is obviously my own, and the teacher and person that I am today is a direct result of the educators that I had and made a difference in my life. I once described the teacher that I hope to be as a combination of all of the teachers that I had. I would take specific strengths and skills from each of them that I saw, and I would form them together into this super teacher. So I've only been teaching for 3 years, but I feel like I have much more experience than that because I sat in the classroom and witnessed firsthand what great teaching looks like. So really, I came here today to tell you about them because my teachers are unsung heroes, and they deserve recognition and praise. So first up is Andrea Cantfield. Miss Cantfield taught sophomore English, and she met this strong-willed, bull-headed sophomore girl with a level of equal enthusiasm and drive. Spunky, opinionated, passionate, Miss Cantfield pushed us to political activism in a way that I had never seen before. She made us believe that we really could make a difference in our world. And because we had this ability, we had the social and civic responsibility to do so. Miss Cantfield helped me find my voice. And now in my classroom, I remember that. I hope that I am able to teach my students to find their own. Next is Sandy Charlson. Miss Charlson has a quiet gentleness about her, but make no mistake, she is a strong force. Miss Charlson exudes peace and calm in a way that just makes you feel like everything is going to be okay, even if it's only for a moment. She's so grounded and level-headed that she helps students view themselves and the world around them through a wider lens, and her presence alone has this calming effect. And this is a highly underrated quality when you work in a building full of turbulent teenage emotion. When I was student teaching, my mentor told me that my first job as an educator was to create the culture of the classroom that I wanted. So I intentionally aim for the culture of my classroom to include the peace and the calm that Miss Charlson brings to hers. I also want it to include something from Sherry Baker. Miss Baker was my AP 12th grade literature teacher, and her contribution to this super teacher mixture I've got going is her incredible passion for her content. Miss Baker is the guru of all things literature, a true master at her craft. Miss Baker loves words, ideas, and learning, and she inspires students to think more, read more, create more, to revel in the beauty that life has to offer. Her enthusiasm makes each day exciting, and her depth of knowledge makes her curriculum enticing. So, in my classroom, I work hard to master my own content because I want my students to be as excited and engaged with mine as hers are. And she probably doesn't know this, but many of my favorite assignments that we do in my class are ones that I just stole from hers. So she is indirectly still teaching my students to love literature. Of course, this super teacher mixture would be incomplete without Frank Cooper. Where Miss Charlson exudes peace, Mr. Cooper exudes joy. The way that he fosters relationships with students is unparalleled. I have never seen anything like it. He celebrates students, and he gets them to celebrate themselves and life and each other. He sings to students, dances for students, dresses up for students. He carves out time in his busy lesson plan to make sure that all his people are doing okay. He ends each class period by saying, "I love you, you are important, and the joy of life is in the journey." It's impossible to be in his presence and not feel special and valued. In fact, he has this crazy ability to make each and every student feel like they are secretly his favorite. So when I'm at work and I'm busy or tired or overwhelmed, I pause and I remind myself of Mr. Cooper. I remind myself that my job as an educator is to make sure the students in my building know they have someone on their side. They have someone who believes in them, who cheers for them, who is in their corner. They have someone who wants the best for them and celebrates them every day. And I can do this because I saw teachers like Mr. Cooper do it day in and day out. Last up is Kendra Roulette. The thing I want to take from her is that her classroom was this extraordinary balance of rigor and relationship. Students knew that in order to do well in her class, they were actually going to have to study. They were actually going to have to complete the assigned reading for the week. They were actually going to have to prepare for tests. They were going to be pushed further than they thought they could go academically, and yet students still flocked to her room because it was a place of refuge. Students knew that when you walked in that door, you had a place where you were welcome, safe, known, and cared for. Because Miss Roulette is compassionate and nurturing, and a hug from her could solve any of your problems that day. She cares for her students in the same way that she cares for her own children. And I hope that in my classroom, I am able to show my students even a fraction of the love and support that she shows hers. And I hope that mine are just as scared of my tests. I could go on for much longer if I had time because I had incredible teachers from kindergarten all the way through. They made me into who I am. And I wanted to pause and say thank you. The impact of your work stretches beyond your classroom and into mine. My students are better off because I had you as teachers. If I am able to push my students to political activism, if I am able to be a calm, reassuring presence in their life, if I can get them excited about reading or learning and get them to celebrate life and each other, if I can push them academically and enrich them emotionally, it is because I have seen it done for me. And that is a testament to all teachers. You matter. The work that you're doing is righteous and your labor is not in vain. The ripple effect of your service stretches out further than you can see as your students carry it with them everywhere they go, no matter what profession they go into. I know that if Mr. Cooper were here instead of me, he would do a much better job of telling you this, and he would make you each feel like you've just won Teacher of the Year. He would tell you, "I love you, you are important, and the joy of life is in the journey." And what an incredible journey we get to take with our students. Thank you.